Hey, this is Chris from the Warrior Poet Journal, and right now I want to talk about how to pray and how to pray through your calendar. All right, so this is a very practical part of the How to Pray series, and it's how to pray through your calendar. And I think I just gave the whole video away just right then. But here's one way we can enter into prayer, and we've talked about a couple other ways already. Now let's talk about how to pray through your calendar. So a couple of things that I do sometimes when I'm trying to I just read my Bible. Maybe I just kind of devoted my day to him. I just told him who he is to me. I've prayed through all that stuff. Maybe even just whispered a worship song out loud, whispered it so that nobody else in the house could hear me that early in the morning. And then I pray through my calendar. And so here's how to pray through your calendar. So look at what you have going on in your calendar. I have a couple of notes I'm going to share with you, and ask him to go before you. And when I have asked this in humility and just said, all right, God, and I'll tell you right now, though, that I had to get rid of sin first. And I didn't really see him working a lot until I got rid of sin. I wasn't planning to talk about this right now, but kind of a prerequisite, right? Like, honor him with your life. Get rid of some of that sin. And sometimes it's not about, oh, help me to win the battle. It's help me to fight the battle, because if I'm honest with myself, I want to sin and I want what's bad, and I need him to fill me. And so that he gets the credit, because I can't quit sin by myself. I can't. And if I did, as C.S. Lewis pointed out, if I did, then I would just have pride, right? He talks about that in the book with the devils, the uncle, and the screw tape letters. So he talks about that. He says, hey, the uncle, the evil demon is telling his nephew how to win this guy, or how to take this guy away from his Christian faith. And he's like, hey, let him overcome something by himself. And if he overcomes something by himself, then the sin of pride that comes into him will separate him from God more than, calls him the God is the enemy, according to this demon, will separate him from God more than the sin itself. And so, man, how cool is it that God is the one who gives us the victory, and God is the one who provides the victory. Man, I love that. So look at what you have. So give up sin, right? Deal with that. And man, if you want to talk about that, how to do that, talk to me. We have a Facebook group. You need to get in there and you need to just talk with me, right? Even if it's a private message to the Warrior Poet Journal, talk with me. I'm the only one here. I'm the only one who's going to hear. I'm the only one who's going to see it. And I don't go out blabbing stuff. And plus, I probably don't know you. So, all right. Deal with that first, but then ask him to go before you, right? So there's this idea that I was talking with so I have a friend who's a British Gurkha, and that's I don't know if you know what that is. Kind of like a British Marine Corps with Nepalese soldiers, right? And you hear stories about how badass they are. Anyway, this is a Brit who was an officer with the Gurkhas, because technically the Gurkhas are British. It's a British unit, even though it's Nepalese. Anyway, you don't care about that. Mutual friend who is an Army Special Forces sniper. Great guy. Both great guys. But the sniper has some stories, and I love to hear those stories. But the Gurkha, let's call him, let's see, what's a good British name? William. Let's call him William. So William, he tells me, he's like, so, and what's a good name for the sniper? Timothy? I don't know. Joe. Let's call him G.I. Joe, right? All right. So so William's telling me Joe, he's like, Joe, dude, there's a lot of valor in what he's done, but we have to realize that in real life, the reason he was able to do so many of the things that he did and was able to get into the situations he was in to do so much good was because the United States owns the battle space. This is key because as we're praying through our calendar and as we're praying for this God to be able to take care of things, we realize that he goes before us. Like I just said, we're asking him to go before us in the calendar. And like I just said, he goes before us. Well, part of owning the battle space is intel gathering, right? I have another guy who served, and he was saying that he was telling me like a lot of this. And I love hearing these stories. And he said we would get these target packages from the intelligence people, right? And I'm like, target packages. And then I put that together with the owning of the battle space, and you start to realize that owning the battle space is about having intelligence, and it's about having support, right? Support, whether that's military support like a quick response, QRF, or whether that's having, logistics. I mean, logistics are huge. You can't fight without supplies, You can't fight without guns, without your ammo, without your food and sometimes water. And so think about this God who wants you to be able to fight and wants to be able to support you. And we're all trying to do it by ourselves. We're all trying to I'm a Christian, I go to church, but I kind of want to keep these sins and I kind of want to separate this part of my life out and not give him this part of my life. And we think he's going to just, the owner of the battle space, he's over here. And then we're over here trying to do our own thing, freelance fighting in an area where he's like, that's not where we're fighting, dude. That's not, you're off track. Get back in the fight. You're way out there because you're in sin and you don't care about what I want. And the general would say, God would say, get back in the fight. Like, I'm here and I can help you in every way you need, but you have to be willing, right? And if you want to fight over there, fine. And this prayer won't work for you. It won't. I mean, I don't think this prayer will work for anybody who's not devoted to Jesus, right? So, and anybody who's in sin, if you're in this sin that you won't take care of, that you won't even ask him to help you free yourself from, I don't think this prayer works for you. This prayer works for men who are serious about loving him. So pray through your calendar. Ask him to go before you. Are you worried about anything? What are you worried about? Are you looking through your calendar and you're like, oh yeah, that's going to be a challenge, or oh yeah, I have this meeting and I don't really know how they're going to react to this, and how do I prepare? And you're getting like analysis paralysis, or you're like, I don't really know. I want to start this project, but I don't really know. And you're getting analysis paralysis and all this stuff. What are you worried about? Submit it to him. Submit it to him right now. And give it to him right now and talk it through with him right now. And even before you talk it through with him, tell him, look, you're the only one who can solve this. And then remind him why. Tell him, you're Jehovah Jireh. You're the warrior. You're the one who fights the battles. You fight my battles for me. And really what we mean by that is he owns the battle space. And I'm a small part of this, and he has all kinds of resources to fight this. And when we say, you fight my battles, that isn't a very real sense. We're aligning with him, and all of a sudden, now my little micro battle in that war that he's the general of, my micro battle, he's fighting that battle for me as he's fighting the same battle for everyone else. And it all works together because he's the master strategist and he knows how to make it all work together. Tell him he's the one who can take care of it and remind him why. And why do we remind him? It's so that we can remember, so we can solidify that in our hearts. And so this is our morning battle cry. This is our morning war cry. Our morning pep talk from the general, reminding us that we have the skill, God has prepared us for this. And then we have a general who has set everything in place so that we can do our job. And if we do it well, then the battle is going to be won, right? And even me doing the job well depends on him. All right. So, and then ask him specifically for what you want. What kind of, what kinds of things do you want? But then what kind of outcome do you want? What kind of, do you want to show up and do you want to wow the audience in this presentation? Do you want to show up and hammer and move efficiently throughout the building process? I don't know what industry you're in, right? But ask him specifically for what you want and then submit the result to him. And trust him to be able to execute for you. Trust him to be the God of the battle space. Because you want success today, right? You want success this week. And there are things you worry about. Submit them to him. He's the general. He's the God. He's the commander of the battle space. He owns it. He knows all the intelligence. It's like the United States fighting the Taliban. Only God knows more than the United States does. God understands more about the Taliban than the United States does. God knows more about your enemy. God has it under complete control, not partial control. And he's going to be glorified in your day, in your calendar, if you submit it to him and allow him to be the commander and the general of the battle space, and you commit to fighting your battle with honor and purity. All right, this has been Chris from the Warrior Poet Journal. And to find out more or join the mailing list, visit www.warriorpoetjournal.com. And I hope to see you there. Talk to you later. Thank you.